This mug is my new favorite thing, probably. It's from Japan. I bought it in Narita and it's pink with a little sakura flower. And the phrase in it is quite cheesy. It says, it says, like the cherry blossom, life is beautiful and fleeting, which is beautiful, actually. I was choosing between this mug and another one. It was black, and I liked the phrase on it a little more, but I ultimately decided to go with this one because it's pink. And I might not be pink anymore in appearance, but my soul is still very much the color pink, so it felt like a perfect thing. And this mug made me realize that I'm sitting here surrounded by things, and most of them come from totally different parts of the world, and that makes me one of them. I am also a thing that comes from a different part of the world. I am not from Dubai, not even anywhere close to Dubai. I've never thought that I would end up here. Even 2 years ago, in 2024, it was, I think, when the first ever esports World Cup was launched, and I had the privilege to go and work there for a game, and we ended up in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia, which is as close to Dubai as I've ever been. And back then, I remember it was July, it was excruciating heat, and I thought to myself, gosh, how do people live here? I would never be able to live in conditions like that. Well, lo and behold, I am. Turns out, able to live in any conditions. I've lived in excruciating winters, I now live in excruciating summer, but it's not that bad, especially if you don't leave the house that much often. I'm a person who is happy with a book and a Steam Deck. The only reasons for me to leave the house are gym, even though technically I could not leave the house because there is the gym in my building, but I just don't like it. I prefer to go to different ones, so I go outside when the sun is down, though, or for work, and that's it. But god damn it, my work takes me to so many places, and that's one of the best parts about it. I get to travel the world. I get to get away from the heat, even though my destinations for this month are actually gonna bring me back to the heat for most of the part. But let's not talk about the next month because today is August 1st, which actually means I have this little calendar. If you've been to my streams, you remember that back in Warsaw, I used to have the same little calendar on my desk. And now it's time to flip it. We're going to August, which is officially the last month of the summer, which I'm very happy about because this is the first time in my life when I actually want the summer to end. I want it to become a little bit cooler out there. And a little disclaimer, I yap a lot, but in my previous life, I used to get paid literally for yapping. So this is still a professional skill, very much a professional skill, and you'll have to excuse me for that, okay? Plus, I know that a lot of you, especially those who used to come to my streams, want to have something on your second monitor just to listen to, just somebody to yap into your ears while you're doing your work or your chores or whatever. So here I am, back doing what I was sent on this planet to do. Yapping in your ears, helping you do your stuff. Whatever it is, let me know what you're doing while you're watching me. Because that was one of the most fun parts about streaming, when I would stream and you would come to me and tell me what you were doing while listening to me. Most of you, I remember, were working, but sometimes it was a couple other things like drawing or making something or like doing the laundry and running all the way from the kitchen when somebody's doing the dishes to type something in the chat and then running back to continue doing the dishes. So let's get back to it, shall we? It's not a live format. I can't really do live streams anymore. First of all, because the internet in Dubai is a joke. Okay, it's so expensive and so bad for no reason. And I have a story to tell you about the internet, but maybe we'll keep it for another time. And second of all, just because I've burnt out from streaming, unfortunately, last year quite badly. I miss the community, I miss the connection we've had, but the fact that this was pretty much my job on top of casting and being in front of camera all the time has taken a toll on me. I'm happy to be away from it. I feel like there might be a point where I will find a healthy relationship with it and come back to it and still yap in your ears as before, but we'll see about that. For now, YouTube is my safe space, I guess. There should be a better word there, but my brain is a little bit slow. So let's actually get back to the topic that I promised you guys. What happened this month? I wanted to briefly look back into the month of July and just tell you what happened, because this month I was very inactive on social media and there was a very good reason for it. I started the month with a flight that I never expected to do. I'm not going to tell you what flight it was, but I had to do the flight leaving my phone behind, and I was disconnected totally from all the social media, from all the connections for almost a week. And that made me think, hey, I actually quite enjoy not being connected to social media and not being on my phone. And that made me come back to a thought that I've been having for a really long time about how we are so connected to our gadgets, to all the screens surrounding us. I have less screen than before right now with me, but still, I have my phone with me. I have my iPad. I have my MacBook that is hiding somewhere there. I have my Steam Deck. That is 4 screens already. Plus, I have my work phone, which is 5th screen. Does my camera count as a screen? I mean, I'm getting addicted to it, but not like that much, you know? It's for creating, not consuming, so I guess that's different. But 5 screens in total, that is already a lot. And I want to move away from consuming content that much to creating content. And this month was all about how much can I create versus how much I consume. And I'm happy to report that this month I have decreased my screen consumption and social media consumption a lot, to the point where yesterday I got myself thinking, I actually don't want to go on social media because I had like half an hour off of everything. And I thought to myself, this is the time where I actually can allow myself to go on social media and check on something and talk to my friends or like scroll some videos on YouTube. And I caught myself thinking, I don't want that. I'd rather go and try to clear another night in Hades 2, which is something I've been obsessed this month about. This morning, I finally managed to get to the final boss. I still haven't seen the final boss in Hades 2 in the upper grounds, but today I'm gonna discover them. I'm very excited about that. It's the first time. The game is almost a year old, and I just finally got to the final boss number 2. Okay, good job, Soli. Anyway, yes, I am really happy with that thought that I caught myself with. I have been creating a lot, and I'm really happy with that. And the flights that I've had this month were actually helping me to create quite a lot, which is something I'm very happy about. It also meant that I couldn't focus a lot on the last video that I posted here about Sydney. Sydney was an amazing city, but the video is probably not my proudest work so far. I much prefer Hong Kong. I much prefer the next video that is in the making right now. Shout out to my editor who is going to be suffering through that video for a very long time, as usual. He is an angel, I swear. But I couldn't focus as much on Sydney video as I would like to, so I will do my best to shift my focus onto upcoming videos in the next months. Right now, there is 2 videos actually in works. One of them I filmed back in June, it was, I think. The other one now in July. And in July, I had the craziest opportunity to go to Japan, not once, but 2 times. And I wanted to talk to you about that. I'll talk about Japan more and about those 2 trips more in the upcoming video. But there is not everything that I want to include in there because there are specific things that I want to talk about and other things I feel like are not that relevant, but I want to yap a little bit about them because I feel like you might be interested in them or you just might want to have somebody yap on the background. I don't know. The thing is, one thing is something I will cover in the video, but I'll just talk here briefly, is that you might remember that I used to study Japanese language. I have stopped. I actually restarted it last year and I was doing really good with it, but I had to stop in the beginning of this year when I moved to Dubai because I was in the aviation training college and then I started flying and it was way too much for me to also have Japanese on top. Literally in training college, my life was study, go back home to study more, sleep, go back to college, and that was the circle that I was trapped into. I had no time for anything at all. Even when my mom came to visit me, she was here in my room sleeping before her flight, and I was walking around repeating something for an exam that I had the next morning. That's how crazy it was back then. So I had to stop with my Japanese classes, but on the flight to Japan, I thought to myself, I want to restore a little bit of my Japanese. Because last time I was in Japan, I was 18, which was, imagine that, 11 years ago. Let's not tell anybody about that, okay? It was a present from my mom, from my parents, basically. And now that I'm coming back to it, in the same airport that I flew into back then, I thought to myself, I want to make it special. And I want to connect to my Japanese customers on the flight, to the passengers. So I literally wrote down a lot of Japanese words and phrases that maybe I knew, maybe I didn't know, and I wanted just to have them to remember. I wrote it all down in a notepad and I wish I could show you, but unfortunately the notepad got lost after the first Japan flight, so I don't have it anymore, but all those words and phrases are in my head right now, ingrained into that brain. お飲み物はいかがですか? That's the phrase I probably said the most on the flight. And it was so nice because people didn't expect me to speak Japanese and I did, and they were pleasantly surprised. And like, if we went anywhere out of the scripts that I had in my head, that was a struggle, but I could speak some Japanese to them. They could speak back to me. I would would understand them, would have a little conversation, which was crazy to me because this is the most foreign language in my head right now. The most. There is a funny thing about Japanese though. Sometimes when there is something I don't understand, my brain switches to Polish instead of Japanese. I think it's because my brain still registers Polish a little bit as a foreign language. So it hears something in Japanese and I want to answer like, excuse me, can you repeat that? But the Japanese phrase doesn't immediately come to my mind. But my brain is thinking, hey, we need to say a foreign phrase here. And instead of using Japanese, it uses Polish. So somebody says something in Japanese to me and I reply with słucham, which is the craziest combination you could ever imagine. But yeah, my brain does these things sometimes. Crazy enough. Down in Japan, I was also able to speak Japanese to people a little bit, like a tiny but I was able to speak to them. And that was crazy. And then on my second flight to Japan, I think I've made a new friend, which is a very new and nice thing to happen to me. But it feels like that is a really good connection. And she is Japanese. She speaks Japanese and she was actually trying to speak some Japanese to me and she made me included in the conversations with people. Like we went to a sushi restaurant with her and she was speaking Japanese to like other people around us or to the chef. And she was making sure to include me in those conversations, like speaking easier, slower Japanese, making sure that I understood, like, asking me, did you get it? Do you need a translation? That was incredible. And I am very inspired to get back to learning Japanese now because it felt incredible and I love Japan and I'm extremely grateful for this opportunity to go to Japan twice in 1 month. You go from not going for 11 years to suddenly going twice in a month, which is crazy. And there is not enough words in the world to describe how happy and grateful I am to have this in my life, to have to call this my life. I get paid to go to Japan and I make new friends along the way. Excuse me? Like, what is that? And I also get to do things that I like while getting paid for them. So it's a win-win, I suppose. On top of that, I also had the chance to go home to Warsaw twice, which was also incredible because I got to see my dog. And my dog was so happy. When I tell you she wouldn't leave my side whatsoever. I can't wait to have a proper vacation and to go back home and to spend like a week or 2 weeks with her because I miss her a lot. There is a lot of things I miss about Warsaw, a lot. The list is extremely long, guys. You can't imagine. I miss Warsaw a lot. But my dog, my Matilda, is definitely on top of that list. Well, maybe there is also the guy who I married, like, somewhere there, but the dog is definitely on the top, okay? I'm sorry, Matilda is my baby. She is living her best life though. I know that she's much happier then than she would be in Dubai. There is not a lot of dogs in Dubai, and when I see them sometimes outside, they're quite miserable because of the heat. So I just keep thinking to myself that she's having a healthier life there. Though, who knows? I would love to have her by my side one day. Maybe we will make the move for her, but it's not on the books right now. There is one thing about Warsaw. I can survive fine without being in Warsaw, without being surrounded by my friends, without the reminders of my past life. But whenever I go there, I get reminded of it so hard, so strong, that going back to my current life hurts. Even though I love my current life, I miss a lot of things from the past life as well. And that is also something I've been reflecting on too. I really miss casting. I really miss this feeling of belonging to a game and feeling the connection with other people who belong to it as well, or who are passionate about it. And all the community, all those great people who still work in the industry. I know some of them love it and thrive within it. I know some of them really want to get out, and I'm wishing the best for both categories, even though the second one is becoming larger and larger, okay? Right now, there is Esports World Cup happening in Paris, and I'm happy for my friends. I genuinely am happy, and I'm proud of them for working there, but seeing their stories and all of them together at the same places, like, oh, I just met this guy, I just worked with this guy, and I'm like, I want to be there too. I want to see all those people again because God knows when I would have the chance to see them right now that I'm not in the industry anymore. I want to be in the production. I want to be there in front of the camera. I want to be screaming my lungs out because of something that happened in the game and feeling the connection with the audience. Sometimes it's the real audience, like it happened, for example, in Denmark at NLC finals last spring, when I could literally hear them and feel the stadium shaking because of how much they were screaming. Or sometimes it's the audience that is behind the camera, but I know it's there and I know they're screaming right now with me. And that is incredible. That is so addictive. That is very, very addictive. the life in front of camera and the fame that comes with it, even though it comes with a lot of really bad things, really, really bad things that I don't miss, these things are quite addictive and it's really hard leaving them behind. And this part still hurts and I miss it a lot. But most dearly, I miss the people, definitely. Both the people I worked with and the people who would watch the things and would then come to me and say that they liked my cast or that they enjoyed listening to me or that they were cheering for the game as much as I was. That is something I definitely miss. This was another big realization of this month, and I don't know what to do with it yet, but we'll see. Maybe this is what I'm doing about it, just coming back to YouTube as a yapper. I'm still going to be making those travel vlogs, by the way. There is still more coming, as I said, and that is something I'm quite passionate about. I want to show cities with my eyes, to tell you the stories of the cities, how I see them, or a story that is connected to a city, which the next video is going to be more about a story than a city, to be honest. But at the same time, I also want to have this personal one-on-one kind of connection with you guys. I've been enjoying getting better at cinematography. I've been enjoying filming things, finding good angles. I'm still not good at it. Most of the beauty in my vlogs that you see is thanks to the little camera that I'm using and my editor. Again, kudos to Kanu because he is making my work look much better than it is in real life. I am always happy to listen to any tips you have about filming and everything. As much as I am the person who has worked in front of the camera for many, many years now, I'm still a little bit shy when it comes to filming outdoors, especially when it's just me and my camera, not somebody there to help me. It still feels a little bit awkward, but I'm working through it. It's not even about me being on the camera. I'm very comfortable being in front of the camera. It's about, I need to place my camera somewhere and there's going to be people passing by and they're going to be, they don't want to be filmed, obviously. I try not to film other people as much as possible unless it's like for ambience or something. And I also need to leave my camera there. And what if somebody comes and steals my camera, and all those thoughts going through my head. It's easier when there is somebody to help me, just so I can put my camera there and be like, hey, can you keep an eye on that? But it doesn't always happen, so we learn to work with what I have. That's what life is all about. Maybe it's not. Maybe I'm over-exaggerating, but sometimes it feels like life is about learning to work with what you have. It gives you cards and you play the game. And sometimes it's poker, sometimes it's balatro, you never know, but you just keep playing it because you have no other choice. I wanted to make this video just about like the results of July, what July was about me, what happened in July, but it turned out to be just a yapping session, which if you come to my streams, that's exactly how it works. I want to talk about one topic and then we end up discussing like a bajillion of topics and never ending any of them properly, but that is just how thoughts in my brain work. If they work the same way for you, then you understand what I'm talking about. If not, I'm very happy for you, but also jealous. Congrats, happy for you, nice, and all that. But overall, even though I got sick in the end, and that is crazy because I was sick in Japan, of all the places to get sick, I got sick in Japan on my last travel to Japan. So I had to skip one flight after that, and I am just recovering now. Even though that happened, this month was still a very, very good month. I am grateful to have lived through it. One thing I want to do with it is to commemorate, to make like something to remember this month by, and this video is one of those things. It's something I'll be able to look back at and be like, yeah, this was a good month, I remember it. Another thing I'm thinking about is maybe making something physical, like, I don't know, printing a couple photos. Yeah, printing a couple photos actually sounds nice. Maybe I'm gonna have like a little photo book where every month is a couple pictures. And I think that is such a good way to remember some good things that in a couple years you might not remember how happy you were because you went to a sushi place in Japan and you were able to speak to a chef there. But looking back at the video or a photo book or something like that, you would be able to. Because I don't trust my head enough to keep all those good things in it, It's not the nature of our brain. Our brain wants to focus on bad things more. I want to focus on good things. That is something I've been actively working on for the last several years, and I'm happy to report it's made my life much better, and I want to keep on doing that. And I encourage you to try that as well. But to make it official, okay, let's do a little official sum up. This month I had 5 flights in total, which is not a lot, which is very little flight time and not a lot of countries. 0 new countries discovered, 0 new cities discovered. Narita is kind of a new city because I've been to Tokyo, but I've never been to Narita. So, okay, 1 new city discovered, 0 new countries, 1 new city discovered. 1 new friend made, which is very lovely. A lot of new memories made as well. And the main outcome that I want to take out of this month is going to be that I think I've reached the point where I want to be creating more than consuming, and consuming doesn't feel pleasant to me anymore. And if I have a choice between consuming passively and creating actively, I will actually naturally, my first decision would be to create something. And that is a really nice shift. And that is something I wish for all of you, because it inspires you a lot and it makes you feel liberated, I think, in a way. So that was my month. My best destination of the month was definitely, oh, not definitely. It's actually hard to choose between Warsaw and Narita, but since Warsaw is my home, I think it doesn't count. Let's say Narita was my favorite destination of the month. I enjoyed it so much. I can't wait to go back to Japan. But also maybe next time not spend that much money, because the amount of money that I spent in Japan is actually unholy and I don't want to talk about that. And the best purchase of the month, even though there were a lot of really good purchases that I'm really happy about and I would repurchase all of them in a heartbeat, was this mug, because it just makes me happy. And if there is something that makes your life easier, better, and makes you happier, I think it's worth, no matter how much it costs. And it wasn't really that expensive, so mwah, a win. Thank you very much for coming to my Yup Talk. I really enjoyed having this little session with you guys. Again, it feels like the good old times a little bit, you know? I hope you did something productive while I was yapping for you in the background. If not, it's okay. It's fine. You don't have to do anything productive, okay? You may just sit there staring in my beautiful blue eyes for the duration of this video, and I would not say a word to you. That's still time well spent. Good job. Let me know down in the comments. And by the way, this is not an interaction bait. I really genuinely want to know how your month went. So please do let me know down in the comments how it went. I told you about how my month went. You told me about yours. I feel like it's a fair exchange, a fair trade, you know? And thank you very much for watching this video. There is 2 travel vlogs still in the works, so they're still coming. And I will try to make these yap sessions from time to time just to keep you updated and to keep the spirit of the good old times flowing. Thank you very much again. Soli out.